Greetings, family. Good evening. This is Dr. Kia. Yes, this is for tonight. I see people in the chat asking, is this for tonight? Yes, it is. Good evening. This is, what is it, Monday, December the 26th, 2022. And the time is 7:55 p.m. Good evening. I hope everybody's well. I hope you had a very Merry Christmas. Oh my gosh, I had to come back tonight because I posted a wonderful, wonderful interview between Andy Sheckman and I from Miles Franklin, Andy Sheckman from Miles Franklin Precious Metals Company. And it was a great, great interview. Hi, hello, Cheryl Ann. It's so good to see you. It's so good to see you all. That interview, Hi Rose, was amazing because Andy talked to us about all the countries that have left United States hegemony, which just means they left United States leadership, they left the USD, and they are fleeing to go. And I think that's interesting because there are a lot of people that really are worried, and they should be, and they're scared. They're running crazy. They don't know what to do. It's not really funny, but it's interesting because we've been preparing for this, and people have been saying for the longest time, nothing's going to happen. These people that are talking about gold are foolish because gold is a relic and nobody's using gold anymore. But family, so much is going on. West Side. Hi, Joseph Duval. And that's how we say Duval. Duval County is the county of Jacksonville, Florida. Hi, Mambo. So I thought this was so interesting when I saw this blogger literally say we're effed amid claims that the markets will crash as we wrap up 2022. So thank you. I just wanted to bring that information to you all tonight and also summarize some of the things that Andy Sheckman said in this interview today. I'm thirsty. Hold on. Mm-hmm. Thank you to Plural. Hi, Casey. Did everybody have a very Merry Christmas? I hope you had a Merry Christmas. Hi. Yes. Oh, you're so sweet. I don't want to take too long because somebody told me, you take too long getting to the point, Pruitt. So let me speed it up here. So there's been talks about financial crash, stock market crash, housing market crash. People don't know what to do in the financial industry because when you talk to financial experts, they will tell you to invest in stocks and bonds. Well, that was the way to go, but we have gone into a new era. You missed it, Shelly. It is on my YouTube channel that occurred earlier today about 3:00 p.m. Happy holidays. So yes, before we get into that article where the blogger is saying we're effed, we're screwed, I want to talk to you about the lockdowns because everybody has been reporting from not only America, but different parts of the world that they've been experiencing a winter blast, or a winter storm like nothing they've ever seen. And so it reminded me actually of Biden prophesying or telling everybody that we're going to have a cold winter. When he said that, I knew that they were preparing for something. And I don't know what exactly they're trying to do. Thank you. Hello, Connecticut. I don't know what they're trying to do, family. Maybe y'all can help me understand why this storm is happening. Some people say it's a pole shift. Some people say it's weather manipulation. I don't know, but I think it's very interesting that all over the world we're having winter storms. Oh, thank you. You're new to the channel. Thank you. You saw that? Oh, I'm glad, Andrew, that you saw the interview with Chief Fry Hayes and I and Young Elder. Yeah, so let me get right into it. That's what he said. Number 46 said, we're going to have a dark winter. So let me show you what somebody said about this dark winter or the winter storm. We knew behind the scenes, or I should say, our intel sources told us that something would happen to get everybody in the house. And what would happen during that time is they were making mass arrests, or they would be making mass arrests. So we can assume that they're probably making mass arrests during this time. So, because whenever the adversary, thank you, does something for our harm, the creator and the good people behind the scenes, the benevolent powers, use it for our good. So they got us in the house and all over the world, really. But the good part of that is they're able to make mass arrests while everybody's in a house. And the reason why everybody needs to be in a house is because when you're making arrests, the adversary or the people that you're arresting could retaliate. So in order to have as few casualties as possible, you have to have the people in the house. And it is making a lot of people, sick. So let me show you all what's been going on while we're in the house. Okay. Somebody posted, he's called the Truthian or Trutharian, something like that, on TikTok. It's a new kind of like news channel. It's an independent news source. Let me see if I could show it to you. They're calling it climate lockdowns. So they're predicting that we're having something like a climate lockdown where they got everybody in the house in order to make mass arrests. So I'm going to turn this on just so you can see it. And I'm going to make it short just for a few seconds because we don't want to get a copyright claim, but I want you to hear what they're saying about it. Hold on.
Cars. So we've been warning you about these for months on this show. These unelected globalists are trying to put in a system in place for climate lockdowns in urban areas. Now, this is why they don't want you moving to the suburbs. It's convenient, isn't it? They really don't want you moving to the suburbs. And they don't want you to have a garden. You have to register your gardens. They don't want you buying those gas guzzling cars. So they really want you in urban areas, and they want to take away your cars. They've said this publicly. And it's not a conspiracy theory. It's on their freaking website, and it's already happening. So if you've got friends that say, hey, Janice, you're a crazy nut for watching that Redacted and spewing these conspiracy theorists, yeah, just why don't you go to the World Economic Forum's website and hand it right to that guy's face and show them, here it is right here. And then why don't you also point out the cities where this is already happening? You could show them that. And then that person might say to you, Janice, okay, maybe you're not as crazy as I thought, but I'm going to go get some lunch now. Stop walking around and showing me websites. So it's not.
So did you see what he was saying? Could you hear it? Could you all hear that? They were saying that this was a plan to get everybody inside the house, and it's actually on the World Economic Forum's website that they were going to have this big winter, and that they wanted to try to take away our freedoms by calling this a winter shutdown. So I thought that was interesting. I wanted you to see that so you can go and look for that TikTok channel because not only did they have people inside, but there are a lot of people that froze to death. There are people's pipes burst. I know I have family in New York. Not only did the pipes burst, but the water was contaminated. So many things have been going on. Somebody's waiting for the hangings. Not only that, but flights were canceled while we've been in our house. And I wanted you to see that. So a lot of us were saying, that there were going to be troops on the ground. There was going to be a National Guard on the ground. We already know National Guard has been deployed, and National Guard actually have been deployed all throughout the year, but specifically during the summer and during what was it, November, you know what happens in November at the polls. During that time, they had National Guard on the grounds everywhere, at least throughout the states. So when we reported that and Biden said there would be a dark winter, we knew that on one hand, the nefarious powers had something planned, but the white knights had something good planned. So let me show you what's been going on with the flights being canceled. Just in case, you didn't know all this was going on. So we talked about that. Let's go to the flights. Look at this. Brutal winter storm creates continuing chaos for flights and holiday packages. This was produced on December 24th. So that was Christmas Eve. I'm going to read a little bit of that for you. With much of the United States still reeling from a nearly week-long winter storm, flight cancellations and delays and other transportation challenges continues to pile up on Christmas Day. As of Saturday afternoon, there were upwards of 2,800 cancellations of flights into, leaving, and within the United States. And according to flight tracking website FlightWare, over 6,500 flights were delayed. That's a lot. Saturday's delays and cancellations follow days of disruption as the storm swept across the country, bringing bone-chilling temperatures and whiteout conditions, and reports a bomb cyclone extreme weather patterns near the Great Lakes. On Friday, there were nearly 6,000 canceled flights in the United States and close to 12,000 delays, according to FlightWare. So I think it's safe to say that we can see something is going on. This is unusual to have a winter storm to sweep through the whole nation like this, and specifically not just the nation, but through the whole world. Thank you, Matthew. You're so awesome. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop sharing it. I appreciate the donation, the super chat, and I appreciate you all for being here. I love you, Matthew. I just appreciate how much you always show us your love and support and monetary blessings. Not only planes, but trains have been stopped. People all over social media were reporting from their cell phones how difficult it was for them to get to the store, get to the gas station, to travel. Some people's flights had been canceled, so they had to get in cars and drive to where they were going. So it does feel like it was all man-made, and I thought that the weather manipulation machines had been neutralized, but I guess you still have some minions that are doing things for right now. And let's look at another article. I just want to share this with you. I just want to have a chit chat so you can see what's going on, but I want to encourage you in the end. Here are more flight cancellations. Let's see. Here we go. So here's something. Airlines cancel more than 12,000 flights during severe winter storms and scramble to rebook holiday travelers. So here's another report about airlines having problems and cancellations, and they're trying to rebook these flights. So people have been panicking. They've been, really frantic because people have paid money and it's during the holidays. So what are they supposed to do? Let's see. So I'm going to stop sharing that just to let you all see that this is pretty serious. The deep state is doing all that they can to discourage us. They're doing all that they can to keep us indoors, to take away our freedoms, and to have another lockdown. However, just like the other lockdown, the white hats are behind the scenes arresting people. And this is why we've been making an announcement ahead of time to prepare to store food, to store water, to get precious metals, to learn how to barter, to get your family back in order, to bring your family together under one roof so that you can take care of each other. So we've been warning everybody, and it seemed like we were just making stuff up. But sometimes the creator will send people to prophesy or to have some foresight so that we can be safe. So this is what's been going on behind the scenes, not just power outages and flight cancellations and flight delays and flight reschedules, but some people have had water bursting, pipes bursting, water outages, electric outages, lights being electric outages, or lights being turned off for days. So what I'm hoping is, I'm really, really hoping that this wraps up really soon, family, because I don't know how much longer people can take this. You had a water outage in a part of Florence, South Carolina, and some had low pressure or no water from yesterday until this afternoon. This is like really becoming disheartening. I love you too. However, we are going to do all we can to be proactive and continue to prepare and continue to warn people so that they can be okay. Yes, they didn't want people to be happy. They want us to be afraid. They want us to be cold. They want us to be hungry. They desire for us to be scared of what's going to happen in the future. And when that happens, you all know you emit a psychic energy called loosh. And when you emit that psychic energy, the beings in power eat it, or they absorb it. It feeds them, it nourishes them, and it makes them empowered to control us. Because when you're afraid and you're worried, you're more easily controlled than if your vibrations are high. That's right. I will never live in fear. Right. Dark winter and just very weird. It's all over everywhere. I think it's clean up time. Yes. So I thought that was interesting, that to announce that this was kind of like a winter shutdown. Globally, even here in Florida, we had very, very cold temperatures. And I'm new to Florida, but I knew this was way colder than it had been before. But in some parts of Ohio, it was like 6 degrees below zero, but with the wind chill, it's like 20 degrees below zero. I can't even imagine what it was like upstate in New York. However, we have to have faith over fear. Absolutely. Your husband, Isaiah 41, 10, 11. My husband and I will continue to keep us strong. That's amazing. Yes. So family, let me show you all what this blogger said about, hi, you're in Ohio, -3 in Ohio. Wow, Belinda, please stay warm. Please. Oh my gosh, that is freezing. They manipulate the weather so they can declare a state of the emergency and steal funds. I didn't know that. Thank you. Wow. Wow. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. So let me show you this article that I found very interesting. I've never seen an article with this type of language where they seem to be really, really afraid about what's happening. Let me see. Where is that? Here is that it? Yes, I think this is it. Can you see that? Look at the language here. Look at this. I want to read a little about this, but all of these bloggers, these financial advisors, the people that were telling us, don't worry, everything's going to be okay. They're not going to raise the interest rates too much. We're not really in a recession. And then they told us, oh, we're headed into a recession. But they won't tell you that we've already been in a recession and that we're headed towards a depression if we're not already in a depression. So look at this article here. It says, we're screwed or we're effed. Stock market's unexpected and rare end of year crash. So they're saying this is a rare end of year crash. But if you all remember, I've been saying for a while that at the end of this season, at the end of every empire, they rack up the debt, they spend up the money, they print as much money as they can, then they crash that system and go to a new sound monetary system. And for us, that's gold and silver. So they're saying that this is unexpected. This is an unexpected rare end of year crash. However, we know this is the end of the United States corporation. We over here understand and overstand that the United States corporation is over, is defunct, is bankrupt. And we also know that this is the end of this is the beginning, of a new cycle called the Shemitah or the Shemitah cycle. So when you read the Bible and you study Judaism, or even if you read some of the prophets, like what's his name, Jonathan Cahn, who wrote The Harbinger, and he talks about what happens during the end of the Shemitah year. If you listen to Andy Sheckman, he and I talked on one of our podcasts about the Shemitah and how there will be a stock market crash, right? So, but right, God did not give us the spirit of fear. That's right. Now let's look at this. Let's look at this article. They says, we're effed. Stock market's unexpected and rare end of year crash. Traders receive an early lump of coal in their Christmas stocking as indices across the globe plunged overnight. This was December the 23rd, the day right before Christmas Eve. So much for the Santa rally is what they said. A mini stocks rival triggered by United States U.S. economic data faltered overnight Thursday in a rare loss for a time of year that normally delivers good news for traders. So during the Christmas season, during the holiday seasons, is normally a good time. And this is why they're saying, oh, we're effed, we're screwed, something's wrong. Wall Street stocks fell with more positive economic data, prompting concerns among investors about rate hikes by the United States Federal Reserve. So the United States Federal Reserve continues to hike the rates. We continue to see inflation rising. If you all been following me for a while and you've been watching Andy Sheckman's interviews on my platform, he's been talking about all of the countries that have left the United States dollar and went to the gold standard. Well, they're headed towards the gold standard. And we know this because they made announcements that they're now trading with gold. And I'll get into that later. So the S&P closed 1.4% lower after being down as much as 2.9% earlier. The NASDAQ fell 2.2% and the Dow gave up 1%. This is the day before Christmas Eve. And here's somebody's Twitter. It was, Connors. I don't know if that's the Senator Connerson. Days in the second half of December with 2% plus. S&P 500 declines since 1998. And I'm going to tell you why these dates are important. So I just thought that was interesting to see an article, a finance article say, we're effed, we're screwed. And what they're doing is they are making this announcement, yes, to make people afraid, but also it's a signal for us that things are finally happening, that the system is about to crash, that there's going to be a wonderful transference of wealth. Remember Executive Order 138.18? Anybody that participated in certain nefarious activities would have their assets frozen. And those assets that are being frozen right now or have been frozen when those people were arrested will go back to we the people. And we all know about those arrests that's been going on. And we also know that it's not just the elites and the people in high places, people, CEOs of banks, presidents, and all that have been sent to Guantanamo Bay, but there have also been inside traders that have been arrested. People who've been suppressing the markets, they've been arrested. So that's something very interesting. And then I want you to see it's not just the stock market. Oh my God, but everything attached to the fiat system is crashing. -46 below in Alberta, Canada. Oh my God. Oh my gosh, we're praying for you, Tracy. That's crazy. That's so cold. Wow, we're praying for you and your family. Please stay warm. So let's look at this, family. It's not just the stock market that's crashing. Let's take a look at the housing market. They've had their run. They made their money. They made us suffer, but every bubble must burst, right? So, right after the global shutdown, you had a lot of investors like Zillow and who else? Open Door, buying up houses and then doing minimal repairs and hiking up the prices because they knew people were migrating from place to place. A lot of people were trying to get away from those cities that were liberal and move towards cities and states that were more conservative because they were stricter, the economy was better, and they didn't allow the people in conservative states and the leaders of conservative states and cities did not allow people to tear up those cities and states. There was minimal collateral damage. So a lot of people were migrating. And when that happens, there's a high demand for houses. So they hike up the price and really price the everyday people out in the market. So you have people like with big money or people who had a lot of cash moving into areas where the local people could no longer afford to live and they would buy up the houses. Well, that was what they call a bubble, a housing bubble. But again, every bubble must burst. Here is an article that says United States housing market crash 2022, what to do as investors if it happens. And no such thing as saying if it happens, it is happening. I just want to read this here. A crash in real estate is often caused by a decrease in demand for housing while inventory keeps growing. So you had an increase in housing, but then, like I said, every bubble must burst. Then we saw a decrease because we had a supply chain interruption. Remember when there was problems for people to get the supplies, for builders to get their supplies. So with that supply chain interruption meant that builders had to just stop building right in the middle of building up these magnificent neighborhoods and in the middle of fixing up these houses and remodeling houses. Then on top of that, you had people with inflation not being able to afford houses, so the demand decreased. So a crash in real estate is often caused by a decrease in demand for housing while inventory keeps growing. The increase in housing supply is mostly caused by an increase of newly built homes, and that's what we saw from real estate investors and companies who want to take advantage of the prior demand. So they just kept building and building and building as the demand, because they saw that there was a demand right after the global shutdown. This is what I really want to get to. High debt levels. Let me see if I can make that big. High debt levels can also cause a housing market crash 2022 because some borrowers can no longer pay their mortgages, right? They can't pay, especially if you have a balloon mortgage where the interest rate varies and you might have a payment 1 month is like $1,500 and then the next month it could be $1,800. So if you have a variable interest, what they call variable interest rate, where One month you could afford it, the next month you can't. And also with inflation, if you're paying more for food, you're paying more to live, you're paying more in gas to get to work, all of a sudden you don't have the money that you once had to pay for your housing. Because some borrowers can no longer pay their mortgage, it can result in foreclosures, adding up to the housing inventory. Regulatory changes, increased mortgage rates, and other global factors can also cause a real estate market crash. So I'm only bringing that up to you all to let you see that this is really happening. All the things that we've been saying is going to happen is happening right before our eyes. All the things, oh no, Davy, all the things that have historically happened are starting to line up. I'm so sorry, David. Davy, I'm sorry. That breaks my heart. People are losing their assets and their possessions, and it's so sad. But I want you to be encouraged as much as you can, because it's going to get better. Please trust and believe me, it's going to get better. Now, we've been prophesying that the housing market was going to crash, and it is. The housing market, the stock market, banks are closing everywhere. However, this is something that has happened during every 7-year cycle. Because of inflation, gold will skyrocket. Yes, and that's the United States dollar decrease. Gold and silver always increase. Because of inflation, we are going to see gold and silver skyrocket. So let me see what I was going to show you all. Yep, the housing market is about to crash. And this is why I've been telling people, if you are so inclined, you can follow what some of the people at the top are doing. They are only putting enough in the banks to pay their bills, or if you own a business, to pay their employees. Because when a housing market crash, this is what I mean by great transference of wealth. It will go down so low, it will crash so hard and so big that the money that you have in reserves and your savings, you'll be able to roll over into hard assets, or something like the land, farmland, houses, silver, gold, mining, those type of things. So let me get to one way. Oh, wow, I didn't know that so much fraud is being revealed. And silver. Whenever you talk about gold, you're also talking about silver. Silver is considered gold's little sister. Sorry about that. Let me show you something. Hello. Thank you. Thank you so much, Julie. You're so wonderful. You're so sweet. I know. We can't afford 800 monthly. Oh, Davy. Oh my gosh. That hurts my heart. I hope you're at least warm and safe. Please, people, do not leave your homes, is what Belinda is saying. Belinda, thank you. Can you please encourage us in the chat and let us know why we shouldn't leave our homes if we can't afford to pay the mortgages, please? So you all keep talking to each other, please. Gold value increases, silver value increases. Yes. So let me show you something about why we were able to prophesy that this would happen. So if you all know I grew up within a Judaic tradition, because my family is Hebrew, we're Jewish. In the Hebrew tradition, and I've said this many times on my channel, so I don't want to bore you. In the Hebrew tradition, we were taught that when the children of Israel came out of slavery, out of Egypt, they, of course, traversed through the wilderness on their way to the promised land. Well, once they got into the promised land, God told them, or Yahweh, their creator, their God, told them to count 7 years. And at the end of the 7th year, the 7-year cycle, that exact 7th year, that was to be called Shemitah. And a Shemitah is a year of release. It literally means to let go. So on that 7th year, the children of Israel were supposed to release all their slaves, to let go all those who were indebted to them, and anybody who had debts, to just forgive them, to wipe them away. Now, oh, good, Davy. You're warm and safe. Praise God. I'm so happy. Yes. Oh, that makes me feel so much better. Now, historically, what has happened during a Shemitah? Okay, good, good. Was it buffering on your end because I couldn't see anything? The screen was dark, but I'm back. I don't know what happened. What has happened historically during the Shemitah cycle is that the beings in power have crashed the system, and we've always had some type of stock market collapse or financial collapse. And this, yeah, so it froze. Okay, so thank you so much. I'm back. Yes. So this is how we knew it would happen, because we are at the end of a 7-year cycle. Let me show you what has happened historically during the Shemitah cycle. So this, when you look at history and you study history, then you get an idea of what's going to happen in the future. And that's why we tell people, listen when God sends you people, or the creator sends you people to let you know what's been going on. Because some people study history. So this is called Shemitah, the next great recession. This is why Jonathan Kahn was able to write the book The Harbinger, because he looked over what has happened historically. And being Hebrew, you know that whereas God told the children of Israel to have a year of release, the nefarious people in power have always done something to cause us to emit loosh. They've always done something financially. And you probably can't see that. I don't think you can see this here, but I'll see if I could blow it up for you, okay? What has happened historically? Now, here we go. What makes this Shemitah cycle so interesting? Now, we know this is the Shemitah because we've counted 7-year cycles ever since the children of Israel came out of Egypt and entered into the promised land, ever since biblical times, all the way up until now. So what I did is look at the historical record to see where we are. The Shemitah cycle actually starts around September the 25th, which fell on the Hebrew month Tishrei 1, which was actually the Feast of Trumpets, also called Rosh Hashanah, or the New Year. Once that happened, that's when I started making announcements on my platform that, this is the end of the 7th year. And every time we're at the end of the 7th year, around September, around the beginning of the new Hebrew year, something happens financially. So what's his name? Jonathan Kahn isn't the only one that was able to prophesy this. When you keep the Hebrew tradition, or you grow up Hebrew or Judaic, and you study history, you have an idea of what to look for. So again, that cycle started September 25th, which was our Tishrei 1, or Rosh Hashanah, the New Year, the Feast of Trumpets. And I like the Feast of Trumpets because trumpets make an announcement. Trumpets are like an alarm. When you're going to have war, you sound a trumpet. When you're going to when the king enters his quarters, you sound the trumpet. When somebody makes a huge announcement for the people in the community, you sound the trumpet. And I like the trumpet because we had Trump Pence. So when I saw Trump Pence, I saw that the two men sitting in that seat were going to do something very, very huge, very big. Also, when you see that case that we talked about at the Supreme Court to address what happened at the polls, the guys who brought forth that case, the Brunson brothers, are actually trumpet players. I think that is not a coincidence at all. So again, let's talk about Shemitah and how we were able to prophesy that there's going to be a huge stock market crash. What makes this Shemitah cycle so interesting? If we compare the Shemitah years with the financial markets, we can see a correlation. The Shemitah cycle shows us the Shemitah years and a correlation between that and the financial markets. Major crashes in the stock market are correlated with the Shemitah years. I didn't make it up. Here are examples of stock market crashes that occurred during Shemitah years. Are y'all with me? Is everybody with me? I just want to make sure everybody's with me. Oh, I like that. So okay, good. Now let me show you. This is what happened. 1901 to 1902, year of Shemitah. Stock market drops almost 50%. 7 years later, around 7 years later, was it 7? It was a little more than 7 here. I wonder what happened in, they didn't tell us what happened in 1909. They skipped a 7-year cycle. Here's one, 1916 and 1917, a year of Shemitah, stock market dropped 40%. United States entered World War II. Germany, Russia, Austria, Turkey, Great Britain suffer economic collapse. So it's not just here in America. This happens all over the world. 1930 to 1931. They skipped a 7-year cycle. You see that? They skipped 1924. But 1930 to 1931, I can tell you what happened in no, I don't remember what happened in 1924. Well, I know that there was a stock market crash around 29. So 1930, 1931, year of Shemitah, we had the Great Depression. That was the worst financial crisis in modern history. 1937 and 1938, in the year of Shemitah, we had half of the stock market collapse, sparkling a global recession. 1944 to 45, end of German Reich and Britain's hold on territories. That was the establishment of America as the world superpower. That was also the Bretton Woods Conference, giving the United States dollar global reserve currency status, which just ended when Saudi Arabia left United States dollar and joined the BRICS Union. So where are we now? 1965, 1966, during the Shemitah, stock market drops almost 25%. 1972 to 1973, sorry about that, stock market crashes almost 50%. We had a global recession, US oil crisis. 1979, 1980, during the year of Shemitah, we had a global recession, prime rate hits 21%. 1986 to 1987, during the year of Shemitah, Black Tuesday, stock market crashed by 1/3. 2000, 2001, you already know about 9/11, right? In 2001, markets open on the final day of the Shemitah, September the 17th. The stock market falls 700 points. You see stuff happened in September. It almost always happens in September. 2008 to 2007, 2008, year of Shemitah. On the last day of the Shemitah year, September 29th, the stock market dropped a record of 777 points. See those numbers? You see the sevens? 7 right there before that. 2014 to 2015, see that's 7 years. See the 7 years? 1987, 1994, 2001, 2008, 2015, 2022, year of Shemitah. Look at that, 8th Jubilee for the United States, a world drowning in debt with a bubble economy. But it says 8th Jubilee, and that's what I want to get into. That's what I want to go into. Just so you know, at the end of the 7-year cycle, we've always had an economic collapse. That is something that the nefarious powers that were has done throughout history all over the globe. When God told the Hebrews to have a year of release or a jubilee for the people. Now, they were supposed to have a jubilee, but the powers that were did the opposite. What we're expecting this year is, yes, a global collapse, a financial collapse, a housing market collapse, banks to close. But the good side of that, the exciting part of that, is that we will have a jubilee. We will have a return to the gold standard. And the reason we know that is because in 2000, right before 9/11, Nasara was signed into law under number 43, under Clinton. Of course, he didn't want to sign it into law, but he signed it into law. Nasara, the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, is a law that was signed that is supposed to be a jubilee for the people. So we will see a complete erasing of the debts. We will see people's credit card debts, mortgages, student loans, any bank loans be wiped out, be canceled. And people are coming on a platform announcing that this is indeed happening. Even Metroid, he's probably here tonight. He showed us that he had an IRS debt of $23,000 completely wiped out. This will happen. So I want to encourage you that although things are happening before our eyes, this was prophesied. This is prophesied. We see it happening. So now I'm going to get into some good news. On the podcast earlier today, Andy Schectman, who is the CEO of Miles Franklin, Precious Metals Company, gave us some very interesting news. Yeah, I remember the Y2K scare. That's right. That was in 2000 when they said the whole world was going to crash. I remember that. I love you too. One of the things that Andy Schectman brought to our attention is that while all this is going on, while there's a lot going on that looks very dismal, there are also things going on behind the scenes that are very encouraging. Things going on behind the scenes that let us know that we are indeed moving towards the gold standard. Remember, I told you at the end of every empire, they rack up the debt, they spend up the money, they print up the money, they go through the credit, but then they crash that system and move to a sound monetary system. Okay. So what did Andy Schectman tell us today? I don't know if you all got to see that. What he told us today is that there are a lot of countries that have actually left the United States dollar and left the United States hegemony or United States leadership and join the BRICS Union. So just to recap, when 46 put sanctions on Russia for going over into that country to clean up the underground stuff that was going on with the nefarious powers that be or that were, Russia's president said, it's okay. You can put sanctions on me. I will clap back on that tail. I will get my vengeance. And what I'll do is I will leave the United States dollar. Now, before, countries were not so quick to leaving the United States dollar because, as you are reminded me, because I couldn't think of his name last night, Gaddafi tried that a long time ago. He tried to unite all the African nations and rally them around gold so they can trade with gold instead of the United States dollar. Well, when Russia left, that was huge because they were making an announcement. We're not afraid of you, the United States. Okay. Before they were afraid because what made the United States dollar the world reserve currency was, as you all know over here, we had an agreement with Arabia, Saudi Arabia. That agreement was, we'll protect your nation and you trade us the oil, we protect your nation, and we'll force every other nation all over the planet to trade the US dollar for your oil. So that's what made us the global world reserve currency, United States dollar world reserve currency. So Russia left. Once Russia clapped back at 46 and said, I ain't scared of you no more, then the other nations did that. They led BRICS into doing that. BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. They all left the United States dollar. They all left the United States control. That was big because then other nations got the kahunas, they got the courage to do the same thing. This is how I know. Thank you. Oh, you're so awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure. This is how we know the United States empire is gone. Now, we've been following along. We know that the United States Incorporated was a group of bloodline families that actually some of them were not human, right? That usurped our republic, our lawful government. They then formed a corporation and registered it in Delaware as a nonprofit religious organization. But as we've been following it, it's defunct. You can even look it up. I think that whatever they file it at is defunct. And it is bankrupt. Okay. So they're not afraid. Nobody's afraid of the United States anymore. This is how we know the empire is collapsing, family. Stay encouraged. So Russia helped BRICS to leave. So thank you so much, my sister, Juno Joe. I want to get it correctly. Once the BRICS nations, Russia left, then the BRICS nations left the United States dollar, other countries joined, and they wanted to turn BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, to Saudi BRICS because Saudi Arabia left. This is so I can't iterate this enough, family. When Saudi Arabia told the United States, I'm no longer trading, or I'm no longer trading with the United States dollar, and I'm going to join BRICS. What they're essentially were saying was this agreement that we had is over. We're not afraid. Everybody's free now because 209 countries agree behind the scenes. I keep saying that. I know it sounds crazy. They agree behind the scenes to establish world peace and to return to the gold standard. So Saudi Arabia left. Remembering that our agreement with Saudi Arabia is what made the United States dollar the world reserve currency. Once Saudi Arabia then left and went to join BRICS, essentially we can surmise that no longer is the United States the leader of the world. No longer is the United States dollar the world reserve currency. So what happened once Saudi Arabia left? It was called Saudi BRICS. So I reported this. And then I had Andy Schekman of Miles Franklin on because I wanted to hear it from a professional, from Andy Schekman has a precious metals company. He's been in business for 33 plus years. His father started the business. He was a young man when he helped his father start the business. They're now approaching $9 billion in sales of precious metals, A+1 business rating, never had one complaint. He comes to our platform to tell us this good news. I am so humbled and honored, family. So what he said to us, and we reported this as well, is these are the nations that have left the United States dollar. I just want you to hear this, okay? In case you haven't heard it before, or in case you haven't heard him say it. What's going on with the class action? I don't know. If anybody knows, you can look it up. I have to put it in codes, what to look up here. Because if I say it, I can get a strike on my channel. This is what I want you to look up, okay? No. And you can find out if this is the one you're talking about. Sorry, family, I'm gonna get back to it. Look this up, and you might be able to find the answer. So listen to all the nations that have left the United States dollar and followed BRICS, the BRICS Union. The Russian foreign minister just announced this the other day, but as the countries were joining, I was making an announcement on my platform because I was following, I was reading articles, I was looking for articles, and I dug it up. But about a month later, Russia's foreign minister announced these are the countries: Argentina, Algeria, Iran, the UAE, Nicaragua, Turkey, Indonesia, Senegal, Afghanistan, Egypt, Kyrgyzstan, and of course, Saudi Arabia. So that is a big announcement. Not only is it a big announcement because it lets you know that the United States dollar no longer is the world reserve currency, but just when it was BRICS alone, that was 40% of the global population. We have about 7 or 8 billion people on the planet. The BRICS Union, just Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is actually 40% of the world population that moved away from the USD and moved towards gold. That's the important part. Not just drop the dollar, but now trading with gold. So that was that. That's BRICS plus. Look at the nations that are now being invited. This is huge, family. In Central America is Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Panama, Bolivia, Chile, Cuba, Ecuador, Peru, and Venezuela. No. I'm sorry. In Central America is Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Panama. In Latin America is Bolivia, Chile, Cuba, Ecuador, Peru, and Venezuela. Then you have Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Vietnam. Who else? More nations. I'm not even done. Then you have Mongolia, Kyrgyzstan. I think I said Uzbekistan. You have Tajikistan, Turkestan. I don't even know what that is. Sri Lanka, Vietnam, and more nations. Such that now, instead of 40% of a global population now leaving the USD, 85%. 85%. It's freezing? Wow. 85%. Thank you. Of the global population. Thank you, Kathy. Kathy is one of our moderators. Thank you. 85% of the global population now has left the United States hegemony. Look up the word hegemony. It means you've left their leadership. You've left their control. That's huge. So if they are decentralizing and leaving the United States dollar and moving towards the gold standard, what should we be doing? What can we do that's within our power? We should be decentralizing. How can we decentralize? Oh, you had a question? Ask. Yes, we are due money from our birth certificate bonds that have been circulating. We need a universal income. That's right. So why buy metals? So the reason why you want to buy metals is because actually, that's a great question. Andy Sheckman will give the answer, because I always say I'm invested in metals. And he said, well, to me, Kia, metals is not an investment. Metals is wealth. So what you're doing basically is you're taking the fiat dollars that you have or the savings that you have, and you're putting it in into precious metals, because metals maintain their value. Metals maintain their value, and metals actually increase in value. Now, let me tell you why it increases in value. As the United States dollar or fiat decreases, precious metals is real money. It's God's money. It's historically always been money. It increases for many reasons, because one, we're going to return to the gold standard. We're not going to need this fiat anymore because it's worthless. It's not constitutional money. The Constitution defines the dollar as a fixed weight in silver. And then somewhere along there also talks about gold. And Alexander Mooney, who is a representative from West Virginia, Republican, actually introduced House Resolution 5404 in 2018 under number 45 to define the dollar as a fixed weight in gold, because he was preparing us for this. And then again, he came back in October the 6th or 7th of 2022, and he introduced House Resolution 9157 to define the dollar as a fixed weight in gold, because he wanted us to wake up and to be alerted that we're moving to the gold standard. That's why you're getting into gold and silver, okay? Because we're going to be using gold and silver, because we're moving into the gold standard, because gold and silver are constitutional money and it's God's money, and it's a great store of wealth. So whatever money you have right now, once the dollar decreases, it's going to be the value. It's already lost 90% of its purchasing power, since 95% of its purchasing power since 1990. Since 1900. The dollar has lost 95% of its purchasing power since 1900. So it keeps decreasing in value. Not only that, all these nations that I mentioned that have left the United States dollar, and I didn't even get through all of them. What happens when they stop trading using the United States dollar and now they're using a backup of currencies backed by gold and or gold and other commodities or precious metals? What happens is all those dollars will come flooding back into America. So in fact, and I announced this before this was news because, you know, they always tell us stuff way later. In fact, as I was going to say, most of the world, all exporting nations have actually dropped the United States dollar. And there wasn't a word for it when I started announcing this in 2017, or there wasn't a project or a name for it, but it's called Project Sandman. And I talked about that at length. I think it was in my podcast yesterday. So when all these dollars come flooding back to the United States, because all exporting nations have dropped the USD, that makes the dollar worthless. So you don't want to hold on to worthless dollars when you can take that money right now, that fiat that's not even real money, and put it into precious metals, and it will be a savings. It's a hedge against inflation, because as inflation increases, then again, that makes the dollar value decrease as well. So it's them leaving the USD and the dollar's flooding back into the country that makes the dollar worthless. It's all in the money printing they've been doing for eons. They did it in 2008 when we had a crisis. They did it during a global shutdown. They, you know, just printing money backed by nothing. So it keeps decreasing in value. What you need to do is buy low. And they say sell high, but you never want to sell your gold. What you do is then you take that gold and silver and you buy land, you buy farmland, you invest in certain things, in wells and things like that. So that's what you do with you store your wealth in gold. And what Andy Schectman said, he said, Kia, it's not an investment for me. I get into it to save, to be a hedge against inflation, and to pass on that wealth to my posterity, because, you know, he's doing well in life. His company is reaching $9 billion. So I hope I answered that. If there's something else that I can add to that, please, you know, ask me some more questions. But you are going to get paid for your birth certificate bond. You are going to get that money back from your Social Security being traded under many, many entities. But whatever savings you have now, you can roll it over into wealth and it will be worth more. If you listen to my podcast the other day, and even what Andy Schectman said today, and I was asking Kathy, did he just say what I thought he said? She's like, yeah, he did. That gold will be revalued to at least $10,000 an ounce. If you get gold right now for $2,000 an ounce, and if gold is revalued for $10,000, you're going to do well. And that's at the low end. Gold will actually be revalued between $10,000 and $100,000 an ounce. That's not even a mystery for people who study Austrian economics. So Keynesian economists won't tell you that. Your financial advisors won't tell you that because they don't know. But the people that are involved in precious metals businesses, they will tell you, like Andy Schectman. Who else would tell you? David Morgan, the silver guru, Bill Holter, that he will tell you. Chris Marcus from Arcadia Economics, he will tell you. Bix Weir, who actually worked for the stock market, Road to Rooter, he will tell you. David Mahoney, he will tell you. You're talking about big name, wealthy people. Who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Kiyosaki or something like that. What's his name? Robert Kiyosaki. He will tell you gold will be revalued at $10,000 to $100,000 an ounce or more. And this is how we know, because Jim Rickards said this. Jim Rickards was a financier, and I believe he worked for the New York Stock Exchange, something like that, for 25 years. What Jim Rickards said was, when you look at all the debt that the United States has, in order to pay everything that's on the books with Social Security, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and all these other things on the books, you take there's a formula. The way you know gold will the way they assess how much gold will be revalued is look at how much debt that we have and correlate it to the amount of gold that the United States say they have. Now, of course, they have a whole lot more than what they're reporting, but when you consider how much they say they have, in order to pay off all the debts that's on the book, you have to revalue gold at the lowest 10,000 an ounce, but $10,000 per ounce. But some economists say it would be upwards to $80,000 or $100,000 an ounce. So this is why it would be a good idea, if you have it in your budget, to take the fiat dollars that you have now and roll it over to gold and silver. Now, they say that gold and silver, but gold specifically is the money of the banks, but it should be your wealth to pass down to your children's children. And silver is typically the money of the people. This is what they say. Gold is the money of the banks. Silver is the money of people. But this is a statement that I like, that is a historical statement that a lot of people don't know. Gold is the money of kings. Silver is the money of nobles. Something like that. Bartering is the money of the people. Debt is the currency of slaves. Okay, so gold is the currency of kings. Silver is the currency of the nobles. Bartering is the currency of the people, and debt is the currency of slaves. The USD is a debt note. So I will be getting out of that. This is why rich people they don't even carry money or dollars in their wallets, because they know there are curses that have been put on it. Okay. So I know it's a long way of going around it, but I just wanted to help you to understand or understand and overstand. This is why we take the fiat and we roll it over into precious metals. We put it into precious metals because it is a great store of wealth. What did you just ask me, my darling? Yes, great thinking, Dr. Kia. Stack it up. That's right. Stack it up. Somebody, thank you, sister. Somebody, how much? Right now, silver is, what is it, about $23 an ounce? So you have two things to consider with gold and silver or precious metals. You have a market price, or a, what do you call a market price? Not the premium. Somebody tell me what it's called. I froze again. So you have one price. So it's about 23, a spot price. So the price of silver is somewhere around $23, $24 an ounce. That's the spot price or the market price. And then you have to consider the premium that they have over that. So by the time you buy an ounce of silver, it'll probably be like at least $30 an ounce or something like that, because you have a spot price or market price. Then you have a premium, which is the cost above the spot price that it takes for doing business with a dealer. And then you have to reassess assess a numismatic value. So some of the silver that you buy might be a collector's item. For example, Queen Elizabeth just perished this year officially. So those coins probably have a higher premium, because now people are going to collect those. They have a sentimental value to them. So you might have a higher premium. Your cost will be significantly more, or there will be a cost above the $23. So silver spot price about 23. It fluctuates between 23, 24, 25 an ounce, plus the premium and taxes. So let's say you're going to spend about $30, $32 an ounce. Most people can afford to get 1 ounce of silver. And if they can't, they should consider half an ounce, a fourth of an ounce, an eighth of an ounce, a 16th of an ounce, silver shots, sterling silver, putting money together with their families. Even if it's just pennies, if everybody put their pennies together, they could get 1 ounce of silver, which I recommend, because if each of us get 1 ounce of silver, okay, we will not only have wealth, 1 ounce of wealth, but also we'll be stopping those rich people, because the rich people are draining the COMEX. The rich people are demanding a lot of silver. That's why we need to get in right now, because of course there's a lot of silver and gold, but how much is it above ground? If we get in it right now, they won't be able to hoard it. That brings me some, let me talk about hoarding. But before that, let me tell you that gold is probably about $1,800 an ounce. $18 an ounce, excuse me. But again, you can buy it in denominations like half an ounce, quarter of an ounce, eighth of an ounce, hello, 16th of an ounce. You can get gold Arum notes, which I happen to have one right here. A gold Arum note looks like this. It is it is 24 karat gold pressed onto a note. I think I bought mine for like $6.95, but in one of my groups, a young lady told me she bought some for like $3.95. So I hear a lot of people say, I can't do it. What I encourage our family do is, instead of saying I can't, even if you're struggling, ask yourself, how can I? Because when you do that, you open up a world of opportunities. Okay. So you ask yourself, how can I? And then the universe will start to answer you. You can put your money together with family members. You can look at what you have in your home or in your possession and discern between a need and a want, and look at what you need, and maybe sacrifice the want to get an ounce of silver or half an ounce of silver, or even constitutional silver, like the silver dimes, the silver that was minted before 1965, because the silver that was minted before 1965 actually has 90% silver. So you probably can afford a silver dime or a few silver dimes or a few silver quarters or half a dollar real silver minted before 1965. And you can either contact Andy Sheckman for all your silver and gold needs, or you can go to your local coin shop. Andy Sheckman has promised our family here that if you buy silver and gold from him or any precious metals, and you let him know that Dr. Kia Pruitt referred you, then you'll get the best prices in the industry. Now, he's been in the business for 33 years. So where some people can't find product because maybe their wholesalers have run out of product, he has relationships with wholesalers that other people don't have relationships with. So contact Andy Sheckman, info at milesfranklin.com, milesfranklin.com, or Andy at milesfranklin.com. Now, you also want to get into silver and gold, because not only are all these countries leaving the United States dollar, causing the dollars to now flood into our country and be worthless, but we know over here that central banks are hoarding gold. As a matter of fact, last quarter alone, in the third quarter, central banks bought a record amount of gold, 400 tons of gold. 400 tons of gold central banks bought, and there was a whole bunch that's not included in that amount that was unreported. And one of the things I brought out in the podcast yesterday is that China just let us know or reported some of their gold holdings that they hadn't previously reported. So when in the articles that came out with Bloomberg and some of the other articles that were saying central banks are hoarding up gold, they had a record amount of 400 tons of gold that was exported to them. Just in last quarter alone, they said there were mystery buyers, but they didn't tell you if they were whales, which were billionaires, or if it was other countries. But we found out that, yeah, there were whales, but there were also China, the country of China. So you have all of these banks buying up gold. You have China reporting that they bought up gold. You have Ghana making an announcement that they're now trading gold for oil. They just met with Dubai refineries and Saudi Arabia leaders to let them know that we're no longer using the United States dollar. Okay. And I forgot to tell you all, did I tell you that Senegal? I think I did tell you that Senegal and Egypt, African nations are leaving the USD. So when Ghana made this announcement that they're now using gold for oil, that just sparked other African nations to do the same. Can you see that we're moving towards the gold standard? This is huge. Now, somebody asked me about the Iraqi dinar, and I am going to. Okay, thank you, Theta. I'm going to get into that in 1 minute. Gold right now is $1,811.60 per ounce. Silver is $24.06 per ounce. So there you have it. It fluctuates, but people are prophesying or imagining or foretelling that when we go into the new year, gold and silver probably will shoot through the roof. And one of the reasons why is because with all these countries moving towards the gold standard and central banks hoarding gold, can you see? It's like it's not rocket science. We can see that the demand is going up. So when demand goes up, and the supply, and there's only a certain amount of supply that's above ground. We know that the earth is abundant and that God made a whole lot, and they're probably hiding silver and gold somewhere, but the reported amount of silver and gold that they have above the ground is such that as the demand continues to increase, then the supply will go out to meet that demand. So if you can consider getting into silver and gold, whatever savings you have. Like I remember when I first started, I bought 1 ounce of silver and I was so excited about that 1 ounce. And I just held it until I had a couple dollars more, and I'm a substitute school teacher and I don't work every day. So I don't have a lot of money. I just, whatever you can, just get an ounce, just get what you can afford. So that is something important to note about supply and demand. Now, somebody asked me on a podcast that Andy Sheckman did, that I posted earlier today, isn't January 1st when they implement Basel 4? And that was a great question. Need to wait till we get money to invest in metals. Money don't have money for mortgage. Yes, a lot of people don't have money for mortgages, food, etc., etc. So how can they buy? And that's why I say, if you can. Some people are also considering gold IRAs. Some people in my family have asked me to ask Andy about gold IRAs. So if you have retirement accounts, some people are taking some amount of that or all of it and rolling it over to gold just to protect their assets. Because in 2008, when we had the stock market crash, people lost tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars from their from their retirement accounts. So if people don't have money for mortgages, then of course you have to take care of your necessities. You pay your mortgage, you buy your food, you do whatever you have to do to survive. If, however, you can put something and get something, precious metals, in your portfolio or put it in your possession, then that's what I'm speaking to. Then do that. Of course, I would never ask anybody to burden themselves. Thank you for that. But again, some people can put their money together with family members, and people can also sacrifice their wants to get into precious metals, or they can just take whatever savings they have and roll it over into precious metals. But that is a great point. Everybody is not there yet, but you can wait till we return to the gold standard. You can wait till NESARA passes. You can wait because under NESARA, each person will get money in each money will get money in their quantum accounts between $10,000 and $100,000 per month for 11 years into a non-interest bearing account. So when that happens, you all will have money to be able to do whatever it is you want to do with it. And I apologize that this is freezing. So yes, foreign currencies. Let me get in that. But first, let me talk about Basel 4, because a person asked me, when is Basel 4 going to be implemented? And I wanted to bring that to you. Basel 4 is a banking compliance, and it came after Basel 3. Here's Basel 4. So it came after Basel 3. Basel 3 was, I think Basel 3 went into law or into effect in 2018, and that's where all banks had to be compliant and make gold a tier 1 asset. See, I'm telling you, things are happening. Under Basel 3 in 2018, they had to make gold a tier 1 asset, which basically just means that they had to acknowledge gold as money. I'm telling you what's happening, family. But that happened in 2018, and then we have Basel 4, and Basel 4 is supposed to be implemented January the 1st, 2023. You see how everything is lining up. This is why they're scared. They're like, on one hand, some people are afraid because they see a stock market crash coming. That's why they say, oh no, we're effed, we're screwed. Christmas is usually a time when stocks are doing great, but they're falling right before Christmas Eve. I showed you the article. We're effed, we're screwed, because some people are really worried. They don't know that we're going to the gold standard. Now, a few people know, but most of the people in the world do not know. Over here, we are so blessed. We are so fortunate, family. We're the part of the 1% or less than 1%, maybe half of a 1% that knows that we're moving to the gold standard. So while other people are worried and fearful and they're emitting loosh, we know that things are working out for our good. Basel 3 compliance made gold a tier 1 asset, acknowledging gold as money, just like the Constitution. Woo! I get excited. So what's Basel 4? Basel 4, sometimes known as Basel 3.1, refers to the finalization of the Basel III reform package. Although Basel committees agree on the changes in 2017, implementation has taken some time. It was due to begin January of this year. However, due to the global shutdown and all the stuff that happened, the start date has now been pushed back to January the 1st, 2023, which is just a few days. What is Basel 4? Let's see. Whatever happens, Basel 4 is coming, and banks will have to be ready for it. There is, of course, the possibility that BCBS will delay or at least partially delay implementation. However, in this time of uncertainty, there can be no doubt that a more robust framework will hopefully lead to a stronger and more stable banking system, able to withstand whatever chances are thrown at it in the future. So basically, what they're saying is the Basel compliances were rules that banks had to operate more benevolently. They couldn't steal your money anymore through bank bail-ins. They can't use your money anymore to how to use your money in the bank, and then they invest it in other things, which is why you can't always get all your money out at one time, because they take your money and they invest it in the stock market and other markets to make themselves richer, to enrich themselves. So Basel 4 compliance. No, I almost ended the broadcast. Woo. Basel 4 compliance is coming January the 1st, 2023. Now, let me see. If you want to know more about that. Oh, I'm going to get to that too. I'm going to get to foreign currencies. That's how we're going to wrap it up. You tell people to have propane stoves. Okay, I like that. You can still cook. Oh, wow. If you don't have electricity, you can have kerosene, she is saying, or oil. I thank you, propane stoves. I appreciate that. So we are, what'd you say? 10,000th of, we're 10,000th of, hey, Mel! So excited. You guys, Mel is from XRP QFS Team 1. You need to follow his channel. You need to like him. Most of you already have. But Mel is a wealth of knowledge on Nasara, Jasara. He's a wealth of knowledge on transference of wealth. He's a wealth of knowledge on XRP, XLM, digital assets. He is also an affiliate with Miles Franklin, as am I. So he helps to promote the sales of precious metals. He will be here to talk to us the second week of January. So we're so excited. Thank you, Mel. I love you so much. He said we're 10,000th of 1% to have this knowledge. This is amazing. Thank you, Mel. You guys, we are so fortunate. We have like the elite of the elite here joining us, sharing the love with us. They're part of our soul family. So I'm so excited. Follow Mel's channel, XRPQFS Team 1. And I think he might have a XRPQFS Team 2 as well, channel on YouTube, on Rumble. And what else, Mel? You're on other platforms? I think it's on Telegram. He is on Telegram. He's going to teach you how to invest in digital assets and how to put them in your own possession so that you'll be safe when a system crashes. And he'll come on our platform to tell us that the second week of January. But if you can't wait, baby, then you need to go to his page, because on his YouTube channel, because he also has a website that will give you all the information that you need to know. So what else do we need to know? Thank you, Mel, about Basel 4. I'm going to just briefly talk about Basel 4 so that you can know that we have something to look forward to. I hope I didn't see this. I think I saw that one. In January, the final countdown. People are saying, hi, Mel. So what is Basel 4? Let's look at the recap. Basel 4 refers to the finalization of Basel 3 reform packages. This is banking reforms, which had taken more than a decade to develop and was split into two pieces. The final amendments eliminates being agreed. The final amendments elements being agreed by the Basel Committee in December 2017. Basel 4 includes new standards for credit risk, operational risk, and a credit valuation adjustment. So they're going to deal with how credit is to be implemented, how banks are to be operated, and they're going to deal with risk with Basel 4. It introduced an output floor, revisions to the definitions of the leverage ratio, and the application of the leverage ratio to global systemically important banks. A revised market risk framework had already been largely finalized in January 2016, but they're going to expand upon it and finalize everything January 1st, 2023. So we have something to look forward to in 2023. Yeah, y'all see that chair Mel sits in? It's a throne. He's a real kid. Mel is a real king out here in these streets, okay? And he has a queen named Amber, and she's very sweet, very loving. You are going to love them. They're a dynamic couple. They are actually out in Costa Rica. So I think it's Costa Rica. So we're so honored that they're going to be here live talking to us the second week of January after all the Christmas seasons. Yes, Mel, can you put your Gmail in the chat? I do have it. I think it might be cute. Here it is. There you. Oh no. So I think it's actually XRPQFS Team 1 at Gmail. I think. If you all know it, can somebody put it in the chat? Rod Hayes is tomorrow night. I don't think I'm on tomorrow night, am I? So let's look at, can you buy XRP on Lobster? Mel, if you're in the chat, can you let them know if they can buy it on Lobster? He will be here in 2 weeks, but if you can't wait, then he can answer if he's still here. All right, so finally somebody asked about foreign currencies. Foreign currencies such as, I'm sorry, I'm so tired, family. Just the Christmas season, spending time with family, and just all the energies in the atmosphere with, family going out today to do some shopping after the season. So I'm tired. But you have the Iraqi dinar, the Vietnamese dong, the Venezuelan bolivar. You have the Zimbabwean zim. You have the Indonesian rupiah, the Indian rupee. You have did I say Vietnamese dong? Yes, and you have several other currencies. I think those are the biggest ones, and a Zimbabwean zim, if I didn't say that. So people were wondering, should you buy, rubles? Rubles. Is it Russian rubles? I think it's Russian rubles. So people are asking about that because, in case you didn't know, what happens. Yeah, this is my second show today. So please hit the like button, family, share the video, and keep commenting. I can find his email address, but until then, what happens is when the United States would go into a country and cause a war, they would actually fund both sides of the war. But when they would go over there and start a war, fund both sides of the war, they would decimate the economy and basically, decimate their homeland, which would bring down thing. So it would Russian ruble. It would devalue their currency, and so bankers, like the CEOs, the top people, not your everyday bankers, presidents and elite people all over the world would buy those currencies, like it happened actually in Kuwait, buy those currencies while the economy was decimated and the currency or the value of the currency was real low. And then the United States would then go back into the country, build it up, and then the currency would revalue. So when the currency's country would revalue, once the currency was built back up, those people who had bought low would then go into the banks and do an exchange. So they would get a high rate of return of those currencies. Well, at that time, that would happen. Only the elite knew about that. I'm looking at Mel's Gmail. I love you too. Only the elite knew that, right? So find it, Mel Carmine. Mel's name is Mel Carmine, for you all that don't know that. I'm looking for his email. Oh, I got to make sure he's okay with me. I'm just about to give out his email. Let us know, Mel, if it's okay to give your email. So Lobster is probably a type of wallet. Is it a platform from which you can buy a digital asset, or is it a wallet in which you store? Somebody please tell us what Lobster is. So peace to you too. So back then, only the elite knew about those currencies to invest in, and then they would get a high rate of return on their investment when they would cash it in or go and redeem them at the banks. Now our galactic family and the creator has made it such that we know the information so that we can get currencies while they're low, and then when they revalue, we'll be able to exchange them at the banks and get a high rate of return on our investments. I'm back now. So yes, okay, so Lobster is a wallet. So once you purchase the digital assets, then you would take those digital assets and you would transfer it into a wallet. And the reason why that's important is because people can hack into those platforms where you're buying the digital currencies or the digital assets, excuse me. You transfer it into your own wallet so that you can have it in your own possession and nobody will be able to hack into it. And you also will have to probably have some type of key or password that only you know. And this enables or ensures that nobody can get access, because when it's on those bigger platforms and it's in those bigger wallets, so to speak, and it's not in your possession, people can steal your password, or there can just be a good hacker. I've talked to people and I've met people that have lost thousands, tens of thousands of dollars that way. So you want to be very, very careful, and Mel will teach us how to do that. So okay, Lobster is a wallet which you store the seized assets and they are placed on the Stellar network. Thank you, Carmen. Wow, thank you so much. Family, I'm getting so tired. What'd you say? Trump seized all the world's global assets in 2017. They are stored on the Stellar network. Look at the ISO 20022 XRP and XLM. Thank you, Sister Carmen. Y'all see that? Trump seized all the world's global assets and he stored them on a wallet. So I'm assuming she's saying that's going to be transferred over to we the people. So getting back to A ledger is where you store the XRP. It's a ledger that is where you can put your digital assets. Thank you so much. Anybody can get a lobster. Okay. I want to get back to, it's my understanding all cryptocurrency stuff is going away. XRP and Bitcoin is what Mary says. It may go away. So you have the people are investing at your own risk. I'm not sure. So let me just get close. I want to close this up. So I want to tell you a little bit about the Iraqi dinar, because somebody asked me on that podcast when Andy was talking in the chat, somebody asked about the Iraqi dinar. So you all keep talking to each other. I'm going to show you something, and I'll make this quick. Recently, the Iraqi premier made an announcement, and he made an announcement that he was going to revalue the Iraqi dinar, or the IQD, against the USD. This is important. Mind you, now Iraq is one of these nations that recently joined BRICS, which means now, see, you gotta let's connect the dots. I'm sorry, I'm holding you so long, but let's connect the dots here. The Iraqi premier said he's going to raise the value of the Iraqi dinar. This is what he said November the 2nd. This was just last month. This is great news. I also let you know that Iraq is one of these nations that recently either applied to join BRICS or they were asked to join BRICS. You all know that BRICS left the United States dollar, yes, and they're moving towards the gold standard. So these are two things I want you to put together. In this article, the Iraqi premier will tell you that he's working with the central banks to bring back his stolen money. He will also say that he's working with other countries, to bring back his stolen money, and he's working with central banks to revalue his dollar, his currency, his Iraqi dinar. This is important because when somebody says, I'm working with other countries to bring back my stolen money, what they're saying in essence is I'm working with other countries to repatriate my gold back to me. The gold that was stolen from my nation. I'm working with other countries to bring that back into my country because it belongs to us. It is our resource. It is our wealth. Mind you, he didn't say, I'm working with other countries to bring back the IQD. I'm working with other countries to bring back currency. Okay. He said to bring back my stolen money. Silver and gold are constitutional money. Silver and gold are money. Follow David Mahoney. He tells you there's a difference between money and currency. So when you hear people talk about currency, you know, they're talking about fiat dollars, you know, they're talking about digital assets, they're talking about something else. But money is silver and gold. The Iraqi premier to raise the Iraqi dinar value. This is a quote that the premier said, the interests of the needy were not taken into consideration in devaluing the Iraqi currency. We tend not to repeat that in this cabinet, he said. Oh, he's getting bold with it. I want y'all to get excited if you have Iraqi dinar. And if you don't, I'll tell you where you can get it, okay? People in the chat, tell them where they can get Iraqi dinar and other currencies, please. The Iraqi government, with the help of the Central Bank of Iraq, does its best to increase the price of the Iraqi dinar against the US dollar. That is called a revaluation. What we've been waiting on is a revaluation, also called the RV. All nations will revalue their currencies at the same time. Some people speculate that Iraq will lead this. I assume that it will be all countries going at the same time. Pay attention to all the nations that have left the United States dollar and fled to join the BRICS Union to use gold for trade. Why gold? Because at the same time, they have repatriated their gold back to themselves and they are hoarding gold. Why? Because they need the gold, right, to back their currency. They need real money because it's wealth. I get excited, family. Are you following me? Are you following me? Yes, the Vatican, absolutely. The Vatican has all the gold from Israel temples. Yeah, oh, they had to give it back. They've already given it back, my darling. They've already given it back. So let's get back to this good article. Let's see what else he says. The Iraqi government will help with the help of the Central Bank of Iraq, does its best to increase the price of the Iraqi dinar against the US dollar. Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, Iraqi's new premier, said, we've been waiting on a new premier because we knew he was going to clean house. This is probably in alliance with Jassara. He said this in a press conference on Tuesday. That was in November. The interests of the needy were not taken into consideration in devaluing our currency. We tend not to do that or repeat that in this cabinet, he said. Tackling endemic corruption in this country is one of the priorities of this cabinet. We've been waiting for the new budget. We've been waiting for the new premier, and we've been waiting for them to end corruption. And this is what he said, because all of this will lead to the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar. The Iraqi government works with other neighboring countries to return Iraqis' stolen money, he added. Faced by financial crisis caused by low oil prices amid, you know what, this shutdown, the Iraqi central bank decided to devalue the currency. So before him, because of the shutdown, the central bank devalued the currency. Well, they had devalued it further. What he should be saying, or probably means to be saying, or saying in coded messages, is that they devalued the IQD further during the shutdown, which set the rate at 1,460 dinars per dollar to the public. Before that decision, each dollar was actually traded at 1,182 Iraqi dinars. As Iraqi's market is heavily relied upon exports, the decision sparked public outrage and demonstrations when they had devalued the IQD. He argued that, the former finance minister argued that rising commodity prices was part of the global inflation, and that's why he devalued or made the decision to devalue their IQD. But if you remember up here, he promises to raise the value of the IQD. He promised to take the needy into consideration. What else? That's the second bullet point. Let's look at the third bullet point. And he promised to tackle endemic corruption in his country and to return his stolen money. So this is how we know that the Iraqi dinar will revalue, because he literally said it out of his mouth. This is the new premier. Now, that's not it. That's not all. I'm about to wrap this up. Now, I want you to listen to what somebody said that's from the Middle East. Stay with me, family. I'm almost ending this. Let me show you what somebody else from the Middle East said about the Iraqi dinar. Let's get to this screen. I just want you to hear it. I want you to be encouraged that things are working in our favor. I have to look and see where I'm supposed to start here. This is 219. Well, okay. I hope you can hear this. Let me know. Push 1 in the chat if you can hear this, okay? Oh, you know what? That's right. I can't play it because it has music in the background and I can get a strike on my channel. So I hope you can see this. Let me see if I can see it. I just want you to read along to see what this guy is saying. He's talking, but there's also music playing, and I'm grateful that he also put words. So this is to let us know that Iraq is on track to revalue their currency. This guy is from the Middle East, and his name, I'll tell you his name in 1 minute. Let me get to it. Is it Robert? His name is Bobby King. So you want to go to Bobby King on YouTube. He's keeping us abreast of what's going on with the IQD. Hopefully you can see that. I have to turn this off. Yes. So I hope you saw that. Basically, they're saying that he's saying that the country is being stabilized, that things are looking good in his country, and it looks like, yeah, I could. Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me? So basically, he was saying that Iraq is being stabilized, that things look good in the country, and we're getting very close to the Iraqi dinar revaluing. So I'm glad you guys can hear me now. So I didn't want to play the music because he's playing Christmas music in the background. And if you play music that, belongs to somebody, you can get a copyright strike on your channel and they can demonetize your channel or they can take the whole video down. So I just wanted to let you all see that things are looking good for Iraq. Vietnam is also doing well. As a matter of fact, Vietnam was doing well during the shutdown. Everybody else was in the house, shut down, quiet, but they were actually building up their country during the global shutdown. They were actually still doing some importing and exporting in Vietnam. So if you hold Vietnamese dong, you're invested in that country, you should know they're building up. Same thing's going on in Iraq. They're building up their country. So I wanted you to see that video so that you can be encouraged. Don't worry. Try not to be too discouraged by the different rates that you see because it's not final yet. It's not official yet. Okay. It's not official yet. So this, I want to wrap up, family. I hope I said something to encourage you. Even though it looks like things are bad, we know the stock market is going to crash, but we've been warning each other that this is going to happen. So we've encouraged you to stock up with food, supplies, get some money out of the bank, protect your money. If you can, protect it, like put it somewhere so it can be safe in case something happens to the banks. Well, some of the banks will close, even though through Basel compliances, that some of them will stay open and they will have new rules. But a lot of them are actually closing. Prepare, get some constitutional silver, because if you have to actually go out and barter and trade, most merchants understand what a silver dollar is, or a silver dime, or a half a dollar, or a quarter. So do that. What else do I want to say? So you know that the stock market is crashing. You know that everything tied to it will crash because it's all a part of fiat, the fiat-based system, housing, stock markets, probably some retirements. So you should protect it however you can, whether it be to roll it over in a gold IRA, or some people are taking the hit and taking it out and just going and putting in physical gold, or you can contact Andy Schechtman. He can help you to roll it over into a gold IRA. What else did we talk about? We talked about how many nations, 85% of the global population has left United States hegemony, or they have left in USD, and now they're going to go. And that you can find that. The name of that is Project Sandman. So you can find that online, or you can look at my video that I did yesterday. There was an emergency in Japan today. Wow. Oh, the other day. Wow. Always get physical metals and put in your possession. I see people leaving the chat, so I don't want to hold you up, family. Let me let you listen to President Donald Trump. Okay. Keep talking to each other. You need to listen to something that President Donald Trump said. Okay. Hold on. Let me see if I can find him and maybe end on this notes. Let's see what Donald Trump said about the Iraqi dinar. So I want to encourage you. Let's see. If you go back and listen to the replay, family, you can always watch it while you're washing dishes, watch it while you're cooking, watch it while you're doing something, because sometimes they're a little lengthy, or you can speed it up and do a 1.2 speed, or 1.25. Where's that video? Or 1.50, 2.0. I'm trying to find a video by President Trump. Hold on, family. Let me see if I can find it. So President Trump said something about the Iraqi dinar. Here we go. You can look this up on YouTube. Fox, President Trump has a press conference with Fox News about Soleimani, something like that. I thought I had it up. Here it goes. We're going to do it right here. I did have it up. Hold on, family.
Mr. President, thanks.
Hold on.
Many.
Here we go. So in this interview, President Trump is talking to a journalist from Fox News, and she asked him questions about Saudi Arabia, first Soleimani, then she asked him questions about Saudi Arabia, about North Korea and South Korea, and about Iraq. Now, in the interest of time, I'm just going to fast forward to the part about Iraq, but the whole interview is great. But if you want to hear him, if you got a pencil or you're on your computer, you might want to write it down. If you want to hear him talk about Saudi Arabia and how Saudi Arabia has to pay us for taking care of them, that's at the 13-minute mark. If you want to hear him talk about how South Korea had to pay us $500 million for defending them against North Korea, that is at the 1344 mark. And when it comes to him talking about how Iraq needs to pay us and had to pay us with the Iraqi dinar, that's at the 1424 mark. So let me go here and let you hear that. I just want to encourage you so you can know that the Iraqi dinar will be revalued. We're going to go 1424. Hold on 1 minute. There we go. Okay. Put one in the chat if you can hear it. I'm about to mute this so that you can actually hear the video. Please put one in the chat if you can hear President Trump.
I think that Iraq should repay the American taxpayer for these bases, for what we've done there.
You heard that from me.
Yeah,
okay?
I know. Should it? Will we?
I said we built one of the world's most expensive airport facilities anywhere in the world. I mean, I wish we had it in New York. I wish we had it in Washington. We built runways that are 15,000 feet long. At LaGuardia, they're 7,000 feet long. In fact, I think they're 20,000 feet long over there, and deep, thick concrete and steel. Nobody ever built runways like this. Okay, it was way overbuilt, but that's okay. But we have billions of dollars into that. I said, if we leave, you got to pay us. If we leave, you have to pay us for embassies. You have to pay us for the money we put in.
How are you going to collect?
Well, we have a lot of their money right now. We have a lot of their money. We have $35 billion of their money right now sitting in an account. And I think they'll agree to pay. Otherwise, we'll stay there.
Performance that truly matters.
So, did you all hear that? Sorry. Did you all hear? He said that we went into Iraq and we built up their country and restored their railroads. If my memory serves me right, we restored their railroads that rival anything we ever had here. He wished we had those type of railroads here in New York. And so he made them pay us for protecting them. And she was like, how are you going to make them pay us? He said, oh, we have their money. We have, how much did he say? I didn't write it down. Did he say something like 32 billion of their dollars, something like that, in our banks right now? If the Iraqi dinar was not valuable, if it was not going to revalue, family, then we would not have their currency in our bank right now. So I wanted you to hear that from the president's mouth that the Iraqi dinar is in our banks right now, that we made them pay us, and is sitting there waiting, and you know it's waiting. Oh, he said airport. I thought he said railroads. He said airports. Okay, I have to listen back to that again. Is waiting in the banks right now. So I wanted to end with that. Sorry about that. Let's read this right quick. Post Gulf War I, that started January 21st, 1991. Oh, that was what happened over at, what's that in Kuwait? Okay, now 33 years old, into 33 years old next month, January 21st, 2023 is, you know that number 33, that's the, that's a Masonic number. It's a very, very important number. So, wow, thank you for letting us know. So 33 years. So what is it? The anniversary of the Gulf War. And so thank you for letting us know that. So we have 35 billion of the Iraqi dinar sitting in our banks right now. So I don't know how much you can afford, but you can go to eBay. You can go to Banknote World to get Iraqi dinar. Where else can you go? I think those are the only two places. You used to be able to buy it at the banks, but you can't anymore. If anybody else knows where you can go for dinar, put it in the chat. There's something called safedinar.com. And then the other currencies you can go to, you can get it from banknoteworld.com. You can get it from ebay.com. You can get it from 100 trillions. That's 100 trillions with an s.com. You can go to greatamericancoincompany.com. And there are other places. So you can just type in, where can I purchase, the currencies. You can put Indonesian rupiah, Iraqi dinar, yada, yada. So that's it. I just wanted to bring all that information to you. I apologize for this podcast continuing to freeze on and off. It does that sometime when we're on, sometimes, it's frozen again. Sometimes my internet is a little weird. Thank you, sister. Thank you so much. I was honestly really, really tired. My mind was kind of frazzled all over the place because I'm sleepy and I'm trying to remember all this and, trying to keep everything in order. Great American Coin Holiday 40 expires soon. Is that the coupon code? HILDAY 40. So whatever that is, thank you for bringing that. Trump is isolated. He's well protected, family. So I love you too, family. Okay. There's no private exchange. Yeah, I don't believe that there's any. I personally have been told there are no private no tiers, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, no private exchanges, but that will all go at the same time. That's what I heard. So she said, or I'm sorry, Golden Spilo says you'll take your exotic currencies to your bank and exchange them like money in the pocket, and then you'll get a receipt. That's the same thing I was told by someone who participated in the farmers' claims, which led to Nasara. So thank you. Here is a code, I think, Holiday 40 for Great American Coin Company. www.greatamericancoincompany.com is where you can purchase some of the currencies, and I believe that might be a code. Thank you. I'm so glad. Thank you. Venezuela Bolivar you can get from 100trillions.com. You can get it from banknotesworld.com, and you can get it from ebay.com. If you don't trust eBay, then type in a currency that you're looking for. You can even get some on Amazon too. I noticed that the other day. You can type in ebay.com because they have cheap prices. And then you can put right next to, go to ebay.com, type in Bolivar or Venezuelan Bolivar or whichever currency you're looking for, and put COA next to it, or certificate of authenticity. Because what will happen is they will, if you do that, they'll only bring up the ones that actually have a certificate along with it. So sometimes that certificate is a little more expensive than the prices that you would get on eBay. But everybody don't trust eBay. I've gotten some from eBay and just took a chance, but I've also typed in certificate of authenticities just so I can have that peace of mind. So Bolivar100trillions.com. You can go to banknotesworld.com and eBay. I don't know where else, but thank you, Sister Judy. If they do, they will shut down. Now, if that 35 billion is IQD, it's worth about 24 million. Yeah, it's good point. So if they're asking in right now that 35 billion of IQD that's sitting in our bank that Donald Trump spoke about will be worth 24 million, is what Sister Steph is saying right now. Now, the thing about that is, oftentimes when we think about interest rates and we talk about, not interest rates, return on our investment or how much it will revalue for, we're talking about right now without giving accounts for the gold and silver standard. When you consider it being backed by gold, it'll be worth a whole lot more, because gold will make the money be worth more, the currency be worth more, and gold has a higher purchasing, your purchasing power increases. So I can't imagine how much that 32 billion will be worth, 35 billion when we return to the gold standard. I love you too, Murray. I'm just trying to wrap up here. Oh, we're a rare breed, y'all. So we over here, less than the 1% that have this information. Less than the 1%. So that's about it. Yes, he needs to come back. Oh, please, number 45. Please, President Trump. We need you to come back. But you know what? We're not going to beg anymore. We're going to command that things work out in our favor. We're manifesting as we speak. We're going to command all of the trouble to cease. We're going to command the snowstorm to speak. We're going to speak to the snow and tell the snow to stop. We're going to tell you to listen to our words, and using the power that we have to command you to come under subjection to us God beings so that we can live and thrive. We're going to command that the military moves faster in making these arrests. We're commanding peace, and we're speaking peace into the ethers. We're speaking prosperity. We're speaking love. We speak joy. We speak healing. We speak abundance. We speak life all over the planet, and we command everything that's the antithesis of the things in which we spoke to cease, to stop and to cease right now, and submit and subject to the authority that we have as God beings. That's what we're going to do. No more begging, no more crying, no more asking, could you? We're commanding it to be so, because we come from source, and as such, we are God's. Now, family, if that's it, I don't have anything else to say. Amen. It is so. It is done. So be it. If you want a Zim, you get Zim 2008, AA, 2008 or 2009, AA and AB. Yes, let it be so. Yes. Oh, a picture of Scarlett watching you. Oh, what's a picture of Scarlett? Who's Scarlett? Oh, it's not official yet. The IRS is gone. Yeah, it is gone. It's empty. That building is empty. The people that live there, I stand in alignment and agreement. Amen. The people that are in DC have said that the building at the IRS is empty, and so is the FBI. All right. You can put your currency in the LLC, or you can put your currency in a trust, right? Because you want to own nothing and control everything. When you put your assets in a trust, then your trust owns that asset, but you can control it. We are the gods. Basel4 will be implemented January the 1st, 2023. And one of our family members just said that January is also the anniversary of the war in the Middle East. So we're looking for something wonderful to happen then. I thank you too, my darling. I thank you. Love and light to you too, Lene. Kathy said revocable trust. Okay. Oh, Millions of dinar. Grady has millions of dinar, dung, and rupiah from Mechanics Bank. Oh, Sister G, is that Dr. G you're talking about? Or you just call me sis? Millions of dinar, dung, rupiah, you're going to be okay. Hi, Scarly. How are you? Mama Kia loves you, Scarly. Yes. I hope you're being a good kitty and being nice and obedient to Candy, to Mama Candy. All right, Scarly. That's her cat. Oh, that makes me feel so honored. Never tell anybody what you have. What I know about med beds, okay, then we can end on this. Oh, thank you, Mariners. Oh, you're so sweet. You rock too, sweetheart. Med beds are yes, Nancy Drew. Oh, Nancy Drew is on Telegram, and she took pictures and does videos on her Telegram, and she showed that DC looks completely empty, because you all know that DC is a foreign entity, a foreign country, and it's now under siege by the United States military. So med beds are a device that were given to us by the galactic family, our brothers and sisters that are from other realms or other realities, and the creator to heal us. So Michael Jackson had a med bed. The med bed is something that is, I think it's fifth or sixth or seventh dimensional healing modality, that when you get into it, it detects all of your ailments and it heals it upon contact. You can look up Jared Rand. He did extensive conversations about the med bed, and you can just type in med beds on Google, or you can look at YouTube and you can actually see examples of the med beds. There will be med beds in different stations very close to every single city, so that we will have access to them. Yes, trust will change, Mikey. Right now, any trust that you get is actually attached to it has an EIN number. So an EIN, as you know, is attached to the IRS. We know on this channel that under Nasara, the IRS will be done away with. That's why they came up with House Resolution 24 or 25. I think it was House Resolution 24, will monitor and destroy the IRS. House Resolution 25 was to monitor and destroy the Federal Reserve System. And as you all know, under number 45, he took the Federal Reserve banking system actually and put the duties of it underneath the United States Treasury, because the United States Treasury is constitutional and is lawful, whereas the Federal Reserve and IRS are not lawful. So that's why they came up with these House resolutions, to be in compliance with constitutional law, not to have all these foreign entities to control us and pretend or masquerade as the government. So any trust that you have right now will be attached to an EIN, which is attached to the IRS. That's a part of maritime law and admiralty law. And the reason why people are doing it now, because it's the system that, that was operating at the time. So they want to protect your assets some kind of way until they move into the system. But then some people are waiting till we move into the new system, and the new system being the Constitution or the law of the land. Once we move over to the Constitution, the Republic is restored, and it is announced that we're back on constitutional law, the Constitution for the United States of America, then your trust will not be attached to an EIN, and you will be able to get a common law trust. And it'll probably be something like a common law, or maybe a business trust or a common law trust. Some people do revocable, some people do non-revocable, but I heard it would be called a living business, common law, living business, non-revocable trust. Something like that is what my mentor said. So yes, right now it's under maritime law or admiralty law. Yes, all trust. I've even talked to people who say, oh, I know how to do a trust, but with under my new organization, and I'm sovereign, et cetera, et cetera. But even that trust and I asked, I said, I know you think this trust is probably different or better than a trust that lawyers are doing, but does it have an EIN? The answer was yes. I said it's still under the system. It's still under maritime law. It's still under admiralty law. So, but I commend anybody who creates a trust right now, because what happens if you pass on before this is announced that the system has been shifted over into constitutional law? So we will have a new law. Thank you, Mariners. Yes, thank you. So right now, the med beds will detect any ailments you have. And even if you don't have a limb, it can regrow a limb because your body and your genes have genetic memory. And it remembers what you should be like or what you were like. And I guess in another reality, I don't know. So it'll regrow limbs, it'll regrow teeth, it'll heal you, it'll cure you. You're not supposed to say that about a lot of modalities that are alternative, but it will cure you. And it will help you to regress in age. So some say that the actual med bed will cure you and help you to go back to age and regress in age. Some say there will be another bed that's even more magnificent than the med bed, because you can determine what age you desire to be and you can go back to that age. I always say 25, darling, is where I want to go back to, because mama had a nice figure back then and I had beautiful skin. I mean, I still look, cute or whatnot, but no, you'll be able to determine which age you want to desire to be, and you will be able to go back to that age. So that's exciting. Thank you, Mariners. Yes, they will be free. The med beds will be free. We have so many people that need it. What? You see that? TicTok Go received an EBS test today on the cell phone in Michigan from the Department of Homeland Security. Something is coming soon. Woo! We need to end on that, family. Wow. Thank you for sharing that with the family. Has anybody else received an EBS test? Now, I do know that some people have said that their ATM cards were not working. I've heard of banks closing and banks not working, people not being able to process their payments. This is an EBS test, which is huge. And I think it's interesting that it's happening during this winter storm, or what they call it, a winter shutdown, because we heard that everybody will be in. You'll have troops on the ground, and you'll have an EBS announcement, which is an emergency broadcast system announcement that was put into place. It's lawful now for the president. It's called a presidential emergency broadcast system announcement, so that he can make announcements in a way that will circumvent the mainstream media. Now, on the other day, I reported how President Trump made a huge announcement, and some people were upset because they were like, oh, he just made this announcement that he's coming out with some Trump cards. And I was like, that's big in itself. Trump card? He's about to play his hand. He's about to pull that Trump card and shut it down. Hours later, he made an announcement that he was launching an attack on those systems, social media and MSM, and any type of system that was attacking our freedom of speech. That was big, because what that said to me is that the EBS announcement is soon to come. And that for a long time, but he had to make an announcement that these entities were attacking our freedoms. And then, they always have to tell you what they're going to do. And he was making sure that we will have a voice, and then he's going to circumvent them because they didn't make that announcement. They were supposed to make the announcement. They didn't. This is what we've always heard. He would make an announcement to say he's going to attack them, because they would be the last piece, one of the last pieces of the puzzle. Talk about social media, MSM, anything that would attack our freedom of speech. And then the EBS announcement would come, where he would go around them and state whatever it is that he desires. Our case, we know, is that he's been at war with the deep state, who has done things to our children, taken away our freedom, enslaved the entire planet, exacted usury, which is interest rates that's against the Constitution for the United States of America, took over our lawful government, the republic, and just basically did all kind of nefarious things. Now, if you saw that interview that I did with Brother Hayes and young Pharaoh, not young, Lord Jesus, I'm sorry, excuse me, young elder. The is it the young elder and Chief Rod Hayes, you'll see that they talked about how these nefarious beings came on the planet to enslave us. They talked about who they are, how they came in, where they came from, why they were kicked out of Europe. So we were told a story that it was Caucasians that were kicked out of Europe for whatever reason, but Chief Rod Hayes brought receipts to let us know these were actually melanated beings that were kicked out of Europe, came here to enslave us, and put a system in place where they put a system in place. They actually shape-shifted, came upon our land, made themselves look like us so that we would be confused and not know that they were here, and took some of our Caucasian brothers and sisters to put them in certain areas in society. So you had these beings that were in society, and they put some of our Caucasian brothers and sisters in place to be gatekeepers. Meanwhile, we're fighting against our brothers and sisters, our Caucasian brothers and sisters, but the Caucasian brothers and sisters were doing certain things to try to let us know, like, it's not us. We can't tell you. It's some melanated beings that's behind the scenes. These people ain't human. You know, y'all have to see that interview. It was amazing. And so since those beings were not human, brought some of the Caucasian brothers and sisters here, remember, we welcomed them here. And you can see that on my interview with Lloyd Michael Douglas, Who Are the Moors? That video I did, he talked about how we welcomed our Caucasian brothers and sisters here. He showed receipts on that. So, but Chief Rod Hayes said when that happened and the nefarious beings put our Caucasian brothers and sisters in certain places so that of power, so that we couldn't have access to the banks and to the schools and to leadership roles, then it's the feathers against the fezzes. We, the indigenous people, the so-called Indians or Native Americans, then told Europe, empty out all your prisons, bring us all your derelicts. We don't care. Just bring everybody. Bring them, as many of them over here as you can. And we then had allegiance with those Caucasian brothers and sisters and sent them into the institutions so that we can find out what was going on and get knowledge. It was so mind-shattering, the documents he pulled out, the myths he dispelled slavery, chattel slavery happening the way we have been taught. He dispelled us coming from African slave ships and how the people that looked like me were already here, and he brought receipts. He talked about how we're all one. It was just amazing, and how those beings that are non-human actually made themselves melanated or shape-shifted so they can come here on our land and actually steal the resources and enslave us and cause war between the two so-called races that were here. So you do this racism thing so you can divide and conquer and have a mass killing of people so that we can emit loosh, and so that they can essentially eat us and steal our resources. But those beings were kicked out of Europe for the same reason they're being kicked out of America, out of Europe now, out of the ukulele, out of Russia, out of Iran, Iraq, all over the planet. The same grievance that we have with those beings is the same grievance that the indigenous people of Europe had with them. And you all know what that is. The whole thing, the whole war, yes, it's been about enslaving us, but who were they really trying to get at? Our posterity, our children, our babies. And Chief Hayes showed pictures of them coming from, actually ingesting babies in Europe, showing them having the same clothes as the Moors that came over here, because they were called British, but what British? Brutish Moors. Brutish melanated people, brutish Moors that have melanated skin. So I know I'm saying a lot, but please watch that interview with Chief Rod Hayes and young elder on my channel. It was amazing. It was such good history. And he brought what he calls receipts. He had references, he had resources, and he took his time and laid them out. And we in the chat were just going through it, like just really ingesting all of this, because we've been lied to for so long, family. But we're going to have new history books written, new information written that will actually tell us the truth. Oh, Nancy Drew is on YouTube. And I know I'm saying a lot. Would you screenshot? So I know I'm saying a lot, family. Yes, debt is slavery. We, the people of the United States of America, are not slaves. They tried to enslave us all through debt. They tried to enslave us all by considering us dead and creating an all corporate entity with all caps letters, and taking our birth certificates and trading on a New York Stock Exchange like chattel, trading under our Social Security numbers, and just treated us all like slaves. Just wait till we find out that slavery, the story of slavery that we were told, didn't happen the way it was told. Hey, young elder. Family, young elder is among us. You want to go to his channel. It is called The Young Elder. He's on YouTube. He does a phenomenal job bringing true history. He does a phenomenal job talking about what went on between the Moors and indigenous people here. He brings Chief Roz Hayes on his channel often. And his channel, some of those interviews just literally go viral, like thousands of people. He talk about the Anunnaki, Enlil, Enki, all those beings that came here that are non-human. He goes into metaphysics. He goes into spiritual modalities and deities and gods and goddesses. Family, you need to go to the Young Elder's YouTube channel. And it's just like that, The Young Elder. You can follow him there. He is the one that hosted the interview between Brother Rod Hayes himself and I. And I think that the last time I saw that, yesterday, it reached 20,000 views. And we just did that like 2 days ago. So go to his channel and also support Chief Hayes at the Sick Ape. Let me see. Oh, you love my turban. Thank you, Queen B. This is I think this is Brother Chief Rod Hayes. This is Chief Rod Hayes's. Hold on, young elder. I'm gonna try to put you back. That is Chief Elder's Instagram. So you can follow. I'm sorry, Chief Rod Hayes. He's the one that talked about true history. God, the ancestors sent him and the creator sent him to help awaken us during this great awakening. And the Young Elder actually has him on his show a lot. You also, so you want to follow the Young Elder. You want to follow the Sick Ape at Instagram. Young Elder, if you can put your Instagram down, we would appreciate that. You're welcome. What else I want to say? These are exciting times ahead, people, our family. In the building. I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much. You need somebody's email? All right, family. I know I love you. Mwah, mwah. I love you, Young Elder. Thank you. Family, is there anything else? Look, when I get rich, honey, I ain't gonna work the only work I'm gonna be doing is helping to liberate our people and doing the humanitarian projects. So family, we know an EBS announcement is about to come. Somebody just let us know that they had a test from Homeland Security. By the way, if you are doing humanitarian projects, you will be protected by Homeland Security. I was told that in 2017 or 18, we will be protected by Homeland Security. They know who you are. They know all of us that have currencies. They know. I mean, because you have the galactic beings that are watching us, the watchers, and you have the creator. So we will be protected. We need our press back from the rock. Oh, we need our press back, trying to enslave we the people. Absolutely. Right now, while we're rating, let's start, thank you, putting our humanitarian projects together. So don't wait. Don't wait till the battle's over. Shout now. You know in the end, you're gonna win. That's a gospel song. Dun, dun, dun. Don't wait till the battle's over. Shout now. You know in the end, you're gonna win. So anyway, don't wait until the revaluation of currencies. Go ahead and start putting your humanitarian projects together now. Okay. Don't wait until everything collapses. Put a plan in place now. If you've been listening, you weren't worried when the snowstorm came. You already had your water, your toilet paper, your food, and all that, because we've been talking about this for a long time, that it was time for something to happen to keep us in our houses so they can do a mass arrest. You're welcome. Thank you. Well, it's my great pleasure. You can find real silver in consignment shops. You can find silver cutlery, silver tea sets. You can find sterling silver, silver jewelry. Thank you, Mickey. Thank you. That's great. Great advice. We're going to take everything back. I went to the enemy's camp and took back my joy, took back what he stole from me. Took back what he stole from me. Took back what he stole from me. I went to the enemy's camp and took back my wealth, took back what he stole from me. He's under my feet. He's under my feet. Satan is under my feet. Y'all know I can't sing, but I love to sing. So you have to encourage yourself. Section 230 shall be abolished soon. That includes these fake journalists. Thank you, Girl Code. It's good to see you, Girl Code. Let me see if I can go ahead and make you. Girl Code told me to make her it won't let me make you a mod. I am there. I see nothing by your name but a star. These people tripping. I'm telling y'all. That would be a great show. We're gonna win. We're gonna have to do that show. There are sometimes I'm not going to get in it because I don't want to, complain. But sometimes, YouTube give me a little trouble. Sometimes I can't do the things that I can't. There's no such thing as can't. Sometimes I'm a little challenged. Okay. Sometimes I'm a little challenged. Sometimes they demonetize my platform. Many of my videos, they said it was limited monetization. And when I checked it, there were no commercials, no monetization, but it's okay because what's more important is getting the news out. Finally, family, get your family in order, get your house in order, get yourself in order, get your house in order. It's time to stop making excuses. Okay. The excuse of slavery, I'm a slave, racism, sexism, I like the same sex, all those excuses for why you cannot thrive must cease. It has to stop. Okay. From now on, take control of your life. Be proactive, take control of your life, and get your house in order. Focus on your goal, focus on your vision and your values, and live by them. Write them out. Then sit your family down and detail for your family and outline what your family values are, your family mission statement, and your family vision statement. That might take days. It actually took me days to write down exactly the values because I know my family values, but I just wanted to have like 3 or 4 points. So to sum all the values up in 3 or 4 things. And what I mean by that is like what Christ said is in the Bible, when it comes to the commandments, he said, love God with all your heart, all your mind, and all your soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. On these 2 principles hang all of the laws. So that's what I wanted to do for my family. That's what I did for my family. I wrote down a couple principles and I said, on these few principles hang all the laws of our family. So I had to do that first. I did a video on my video. There's a video called Take Back Your Power from the Liberals and Their Agenda. In that video, I talked about the importance of having a family mission statement, a family vision statement, and values. First, I had to write down the values because the values were my framework for writing my family's mission statement and vision statement. Get your personal house in order in terms with the principles that you're going to live, because we're moving away from that 3rd dimensional reality where we're harming our own babies, aborting our babies. That's over. That's done with. We're moving to a different reality. We're going to make better decisions with our life. So you're not put in a position to even have to think about those things. Okay. We're going to a higher dimension where we're learning to love each other. racism will no longer exist. How in the world can you have relationships with the beings who are about to show themselves if you're still fighting with each other? So get your personal house in order, get yourself in order, get your children in order, rein them in, let them know the liberal agenda might have had you out there doing this and that. But now mama is speaking and she's getting things in order. Daddy has spoken and he's putting things in order. Okay. This is what we need to do so that we can then work as a community, because strong families build strong neighborhoods. Strong neighborhoods build strong communities. Strong communities build strong societies, and strong societies then create a harmonious, strong world, right? So it starts from small steps. Get yourself in order, your family, your neighborhood, or your community, and then your society, and then the world becomes healthy. So that's it, family. My name is Dr. Kia Pruitt. I hope I said something to raise your vibrations, to encourage you and inspire you to create the most amazing, most magnificent, joyous life that you desire and deserve. Peace, family. I love you. Bye-bye. Don't forget, good night. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and please share the video. Also, remember that if you desire to have any silver and gold, to contact Andy at milesfranklin.com or info@milesfranklin.com. I'm putting it in the chat for you. Andy will send you an inventory with his list and also let you know what the weekly specials are. He will get back in contact with you or his broker. Then you can look at the list for yourself, place your order, let them know that Dr. Kia Pruitt sent you, and you would get the best prices in the industry. Andy promised us that we have his word. So that's it, family. I'm exhausted. I know you all are too. Have a very, very lovely evening. Enjoy your family. Enjoy the holiday seasons. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Peace and love. Good night.